Good day, my scholars. This is my school channel and my name is Abiola. In this channel, we are providing solutions to the JAMB CBT past question for the subject Physics the year 2015. Don't go anywhere, stay with us and we'll be right back. You're welcome back to my school channel, and in this video segment we are solving questions 1 to 20. Let's solve question 1. If the volume of a gas is recorded as 76 centimeter cube at a temperature of 27 degrees Celsius with a pressure of 800 millimeter mercury, what will be the volume of the gas at STP? Okay, so at STP you should know that the temperature is given as 273 Kelvin. Okay. Alright, so temperature will be 273 Kelvin and pressure will be 760 millimeter mercury. Okay, so this should stand for our T2 and P2. So let's bring out the equation or the formula to use. We are going to use the general gas equation, which is P1 V1 over T1 equals P2 V2 over T2. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are asked from the question, we are asked to find the V2. How do I know this? What will be the volume of the gas at STP? So we are looking for V2. So we have to make V2 the subject of the formula. All right, so we have P1 V1, right, times T2, okay, equals P2 V2 times T1. So we have to divide both sides by P2 and T1. Isn't it? So this is struck out. So technically V2 equals P1 times V1 times T2 over P2 T1. So let me just take this off so that we can impute our values here. Okay, so we have our P1 is given us, from the question we are giving pressure as 800 millimeter mercury. So P1 is 800 times the V1 from the question is given as 76 centimeter cube. All right, times the temperature T2, okay. Isn't it? So we have our P2 T1. Our P2 is given as 760, remember at STP. Okay, then we have our T1. From the question, our T1 is given as 27. So 27 plus 273, converting to Kelvin, that gives you 300. All right, so I can do this. Isn't it? 76 here 1, 76 here 10. 3 here 1, 3 here 91. So I have 91 times 8 over 10. Pardon? 91 times 8. 8 times 1, that is 8. 8 times 9, that is 72. So we have 728 over 10. So that should give us 72.8. So V2 equals 72.8 centimeter cube. Do not forget the unit. So V2 is gotten as 72.8 centimeter cube. Let's go back to the screen to select the correct option. So scan through the options provided and you will find option C, 72.8 centimeter cube, as the correct option. Number 2. Boyle's law may be written as what? Remember Boyle's law, you're talking about pressure against volume, all right? And pressure is inversely proportional to volume, or volume is inversely proportional to pressure, whatever presentation you would like to take. So we have option A as the correct option. Option B would have been a close representation for Charles' law. Remember, that is V1 over T1 equals to V2 over T2. we are looking at option D. Option D is giving you a close or a kind of crafty representation of the general gas equation. P1V1 over T1 equals to P2V2 over T2. So the correct option here is option A. Pressure P1V1 equals to P2V2. Pressure and volume is a very good representation of Boyle's law. Question 3. The direction of the path taken by light is called what? That path is called ray. All right. The ray also shows us tells us about the rectilinear propagation of light. Okay, and most times you can indicate that with an arrow, and you know, probably from the rays of light from a torch. Okay, you can have the upper ray and the lower ray. So a ray is just that path followed by light. So the direction of the path taken by light is called ray. Okay, while collection of those rays, okay, that's what we refer to as beam. So beam is a collection of ray. Ray is that path, okay, where light follows. So the correct option here is option C for ray. Question 4. What is the inductance L of an inductor whose reactance is 1 ohms at 50 per pi? Okay, then we have R's. Okay, this represents frequency. So let's go to the screen to provide solution to this question. So remember this. Okay, inductive reactance equals, where this is the inductance that we are looking for. So we have to make this the subject of the formula. So that will be L equals 2 pi F, all right? Sorry, that will be XL divided 2 pi F. So let's have this again. L equals, and then when we divide both sides by 2 pi F, so it will be XL over 2 pi F, all right? So L equals, this is given in ohms, the unit is ohms, so that is 1 ohms, that is 1 over 2 times pi, right, times, the frequency given as is 50 over pi, the value is 50 over pi, so pi takes out pi, okay, so what we have is 1 over 2 times 1, that is 2, times 50, that is 100, 100 divided by 1, that is still 100. 1 divided by 100 is 0.01. The unit is Henry or H. Okay, I can just put it, let me leave it at H. So your answer is 0.01. The inductance we are looking for, 0.01. So join me as we go back to the screen to pick out the correct option. So look through the options provided and you will find 0.01 Henry in option B. So option B is the correct option. Question 5. A stroboscope can be used to make the wave appear what? Okay, remember a stroboscope is used to make cyclically moving objects to appear as if they are slow moving or they are stationary. Okay, so the correct option here is option A. The stroboscope can also be referred to as a strobe, or sometimes the strobe light. The strobe light is also used to measure the rotating speed, okay, or the revolutionary velocity of a moving object or a moving part. So the correct option here, according to the question given us, a stroboscope can be used to make the wave appear what? It can make it to appear slow moving, okay, or stationary. So option A is the correct option. Would you like to have access to thousands of questions offline? Or probably you'd like to have a simulated JAMB CBT experience. All you just need to do, click on the link in the description below. It's going to take you to the Myschool website where you can get the Myschool mobile app or the Myschool software. And you can activate any of these tools with just a token of 1,000 Naira. So join the winning team as you click on the link and get your tool. So join me as we solve question 6. In an elastic collision, what happens? At first, kinetic energy is conserved, as well as linear momentum as well is conserved, okay? For inelastic collision, you should know that kinetic energy is not conserved, but linear momentum is still conserved. So in an elastic collision, two things happen, at least according to the context of statements presented to us. So energy is conserved, that is correct, and linear momentum is also conserved. So that we have I and IV. So where do we find I and IV? We find that in option B. So option B is the correct option. Please do not forget to hit the like button. Also click on the subscribe button and tap on bell notifications so you can get alerts as soon as we update the next video. Question 7. Body floats in fluid when it's what? Okay, a body actually floats in a liquid when it displaces its own weight of the fluid, okay, of that particular liquid. All right, if you remember the principle of flotation, for an object to float probably in a fluid, that fluid can be a gas or a liquid. Okay, there must be an upthrust exerted by that fluid, okay, on that object. So it must be equal to the weight of the object so that the object can float. So the correct option here is option B. Body floats in fluid when it displaces its own weight of the fluid. So option B is the correct option. Question 8. The general gas law can be written as what? Remember general gas law, you are combining 3 laws together: Gay-Lussac law, Boyle's law, and Charles' law. So it can be written as, remember it is P1V1 over T1 equals to P2V2 over T2. So this is P1, this is PV divided by R over T equals a constant, So the correct option here is option A. Option B is P and V. This is telling you about Boyle's law. This is telling you about Charles' law. This is telling you about Pressure's law. So the correct option here, the general gas law, can be written as this. So option A is the correct option. Question 9. A motorboy of a driver saw what seems to appear to be a pool of water ahead of him, while his driver drives a new truck on a sunny day. Which of the following explains his observation? Okay, his observation is what we refer to as mirage. A mirage is just that optical phenomenon where you see kind of water. It's an illusion of you seeing water on the road, okay, especially on sunny day. This is because the layer of air, okay, is colder compared to what you have the layer of air close to the ground surface. Okay, so that layer of air we have close to the ground surface is hotter. So once the air moves from that colder layer to this hotter layer, there will be a refraction, and this is what creates the illusion of water, and that's what we refer to as mirage. So the correct option here is option D, the sun ray from the sky passing through from the cold layer to the hot layer. So option D is correct. What happens to the boy? That phenomenon is referred to as mirage. So option D is very correct. Question 10. Which of the following is not luminous objects? Okay, when you talk about luminous objects, they are objects that can emit light, okay, by themselves. Those objects can emit light by themselves. They are like sources of light. They can be natural or artificial. Natural like sun, like the star. Okay, artificial like your light candle, your bulb, okay, your electric bulb and what have you. So of the options provided us here, the non-luminous objects, you know, they are the ones that the only way you can see them, or the only time they are visible, is when there is a light push on, okay, on them. There's light being poured on them from a luminous source or from a luminous object. So they are only visible when light comes on them. So such objects, the moon is a non-luminous object, receive light from the sun. So the correct option here is option B for the moon. Number 11, the resultant force of a couple is what? Okay, so just know that a couple is a system of forces that the resultant forces, okay, they are equal to 0, but the resultant moment is not equal to 0, m equals to FD. Remember, moment. So yeah, it's equals to 0 for a couple. So at least we're talking about a couple here. So the correct option here is option B for 0. The resultant force of a couple is 0. We find that in option B. Question 12. A vector quantity can only be completely described when magnitude and direction are mentioned. Okay, that's for vector quantity. We have displacement, we have weight, we have force, and the likes. While for scalar quantities, we are only talking about their magnitude. There are no directions attached to it, your length, your mass, your time, and what have you. So the correct option here is option B, magnitude and direction. Number 13. In which of the following device is the expansion of solid not required? Okay, it is not required in simple pendulum, but it is required in these three. In fire alarms, when there is fire breakage, okay, this heat causes the strip to bend and it makes a contact. Then the circuit is completed. There the alarm goes off. So we have for the thermostats, is used to regulate temperature in your laundry iron, when it has been set to certain temperature. So once there is supply of current and the temperature has risen past the set mark or the set temperature to use again, okay, is going to bend away. So when there is a cooling off, then it straightens once again. It makes contact, then current can flow again. Then we talk about the bimetallic thermometer. It contains a spiral form of two metals, the invar and the brass. So when heat is supplied or there's a rise in temperature, okay, so there's an uneven expansion, and that is why you now see the pointer making a reading on the scale. So it's not needed in simple pendulum, your simple pendulum bob to and fro. So in which of the following device is the expansion of solid not required? It's not required in simple pendulum. So the correct option here is option C, statement I only. Question 14. If an object is placed at a height of 10 meters above the ground, okay, at a stationary point, it possesses what type of energy? That is potential energy, that's stored energy because of the virtue of the position of that object. So imagine you placing a particular item on a table, okay, so if it's now allowed to move, then there's a free fall. So we are talking about potential energy, the energy stored due to the virtue of position. So the correct option is option C for potential energy. Question 15. Calculate the gravitational force of attraction between two planets they have masses 10 raised to the power 24 kg and 10 raised to the power 27 kg, separated by a distance of 10 raised to the power 20 meters. So remember, gravitational force F equals gmm over r squared, or gm1 m2 over r squared. This is your gravitation constant, all right, and it has a value of 6.67 times 10 raised to the power minus 11. We are given m1 as 10 raised to the power 24 and m2 as 10 raised to the power 27, and we're given the distance, all right, r as 10 raised to the power 20 meters. Okay, so I do not really deal with the units because we are trying to prove a solution as quick and as fast as possible. All right, so we have the gravitational constant is 6.67 times 10 raised to power m1 24 times 10 raised to power 27 m1 m2 over r squared, that is 10 raised to power 20 times 10 raised to power 20. So remember, when you are working with standard form, so this will be 6.67, 10 raised to power 20 times 10 raised to power 20, that is 10 raised to power 20 plus 20, that is 10 raised to power 40. So we have times 10 raised to power 24 plus 27 divided by 10 raised to power 40, isn't it? 20 plus 20. Remember this, it implies 10 raised to power 20 times changes to plus, and divide changes to minus. So, and we still have here, sorry, there's an omission here. We have 6.67 times 10 raised to power 11. Remember, don't forget that, please. Minus 11, rather. So I would have, so from here, I would have 6.67 times 10 raised to power minus 11. All right, remember the gravitational constant, times 10 raised to power 24 plus this, that should give us 51. All right, divide means minus, isn't it? Minus 40. So if I bring it together, I have 6.67 times 10 raised to power minus 11. All right, so 51 minus 40, that gives us plus 11. Remember the times, okay? So minus 11 plus 11, that is 0. Times 10 raised to power 0. So anything raised to power 0 is 1. So 1 times 6.67, that gives us 6.67. So that is our answer. Then we can put in the units as we go back to the screen. So we have 6.67. So the gravitational force is 6.67. So let's go back to the screen to point out the correct option. Remember, the unit of force is in Newton. So option A is the correct option. Don't forget to use the link in the description below. Clicking on it takes you to the Myschool website where you can ask your questions right now, and our solution providers are waiting to help you out. So join me as we solve question 16. Mr. F. Abioye observed his image through a plane mirror, kept at a distance 4.7 meters away from him in his room. Okay, so the mirror is standing 4.7 meters away from him. Okay, so at what distance is the image formed? Okay, formed from Abioye's eye. So the image that is being seen, okay, over there. So what is the distance? So we are talking about the image distance and the object distance. So talking about a plane mirror, object distance equals image distance. So if it is 4.7 meters, Mr. Abioye is standing here to the mirror. From Mr. Abioye to the mirror is 4.7, and from the mirror to the image is 4.7. So from that image in the mirror to Mr. Abioye, that makes 4.7. 4.7 from the image to the mirror, 4.7 from the mirror to Mr. Abioye. So adding it together, that gives us 9.4 meters. So option A is very correct. Perhaps you have better explanation or solutions you'd like to share. Please, we'd like to know. All you just need to do, use the comment section below, indicate that question number and the explanations you'd like to share. Number 17. Primary colors of light are what? Remember, primary colors, they are those colors that you can't get them when you mix every or any other color together. Okay, so, and those colors are red, blue, and green. Those are the primary colors. When you mix the primary colors, probably red plus blue or red plus green or blue plus green, you are going to get secondary colors. All right, then we still have tertiary colors. So when we're dealing with color waves, okay. So the question states primary colors of light are red, blue, and green. And when we combine these three colors together, these three primary colors, you will get white. So the correct option here is option A, red, blue, and green. Question 18. Electrons were discovered by what? It is very important that we note that electrons were the first subatomic particle discovered by Joseph John Thomson. James Chadwick is credited with the discovery of neutrons. Okay, remember, neutrons are found in the nucleus of an atom. In the nucleus, we have the neutron and the proton. Okay, so Sir Isaac Newton is credited with some number of things. Talking about calculus. Talking about gravity, okay, the gravitational force that we just dealt with. When we have Charles Newton here, that name is ambiguous. Like, there are a lot of people associated with that name. You know, there is one Charles Newton, an American designer for firearms. There's another inventor. There's another archaeologist. So specifically, the electrons were discovered by who? They were discovered by J.J. Thomson. So option B is very correct. Number 19. What is the relationship between mechanical advantage MA, velocity ratio VR, okay, and efficiency with percentage? So just on efficiency equals mechanical advantage over velocity ratio times 100%. You can say E equals MA over VR times 100%. So the correct option here is option A. E equals MA over VR times 100%. Number 20. The external part of an object can be measured accurately through the use of which scientific instrument? That instrument is your vernier caliper, okay? It can measure up to, on here, 0.1 meters, all right? It's also used to measure thickness of a wire, small length like the thickness of a wire. You talk about the internal external diameter of a tube, okay? Also, you talk about diameter of a rod. That's your vernier caliper. So the correct option here is option B for vernier caliper. Micrometer screw gauge measures smaller lengths compared to vernier calipers, up to 0.01, okay? 0.01. That is for millimeters. That is for micrometer screw gauge. You can use it to measure like thickness of a paper, thickness of a wire, diameter of a pendulum bulb. all right, and what have you. So the correct option here is option B, vernier caliper, meter rule, of course. You know your ruler, popularly referred to as ruler. So the correct option here is option B, once again, for vernier caliper. We've come to the end of this video segment, but there are more segments to come. All you need to do to get more of this content is to hit the like button. Don't forget also to hit on the subscribe button and tap on bell notification so you can get informed as soon as we upload the next video clips just for you.